I am the man. I am the man. I am the master. Master. And I am the ruler of the world. The game we play is simple. Two men enter. One man survives. Oh, God. I know you're saying, what is so funny? It's so funny. Open your eyes. Look what you're looking at. See what you see. It's called power. It's called the power bomb. And no one gets up from that. And why?
What is going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt, the Misfit. This is your Monday Night Raw review for August the 26th, 2024. What a show this has been. Again, Triple H has been cooking with the Monday Night Raw lately. Not so much SmackDown, but you can understand it's a different, it feels like a different show. It feels like two different writing teams because it's two different writing teams head by one man, Triple H. We've got some news to get through first. But before we get into all that, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, youtube.com/@MisfitWrestlingPodcast. Go into the description, tell us how you feel about Monday Night Raw and whatever you want to talk about as well. Hit the like button, all that stuff. Go to Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Podcast, where you can find us on Twitter @PileDriverPulse. And I'm able to post again on Instagram. Instagram was being weird lately, but I have been posting. I had 3 or 4 posts today on Instagram. You can check that out as well. The audio outlets, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Pandora, and Amazon Music. All that good stuff is there for the taking. We had the Pile Driver Pulse up last night. We went over a lot of things. We went over the predictions. Was it last night? Yeah, it was yesterday morning. It was Pile Driver Pulse. We went over a few things, including the predictions for All In. I will talk about my thoughts on All In just a little bit. The stuff when it comes to the 5-Star Grand Prix, the official quarterfinals matches that I need to be decided will be happening tomorrow on Wednesday morning. We talked about Mina Shirakawa winning the Rev Pro's British Women's World Championship. Stuff about All In 2025 for Arlington, Texas. The announcement that London will host the 2025 edition of Forbidden Door. Julia ending her run in Marty Gold and in Japan, most likely, possibly. Either showing up tonight on NXT, or not tonight, tomorrow night on NXT, or on Sunday at No Mercy. We had a Jamie Ader update, which we'll talk about her in a little bit, and some other things as well. And all that stuff, good stuff on there as well. First of all, we got to go through some sad news. Earlier today, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted out the following news about. If I can pull this up here. I should have a lot of these things. I feel like I should have already have set, which for some reason I don't, which is crazy for me. So Sean Ross Sapp tweeted out earlier today around 2:56 p.m. saying Gunnar Udi, the son of WWE legend, multi-time world champion Sid Udi, who you guys know as Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Sycho Sid, on Facebook posted claiming that Sid had passed away from cancer. Here is what Gunnar had to say. He said, and I quote, "In memory of my father, Sid Udi, dear friends and family, I am deeply saddened to share that my father, Sid Udi, has passed away after battling cancer for several years. He was a man of strength, kindness, and love, and his presence will be missed greatly. We appreciate your thoughts and prayers as we grieve over this loss. Details for a memorial service will be shared soon. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, Gunnar Udi." So, Gunnar Udi, not Gunnar Udi, Sycho Sid Vicious was one of the great big men of the early 90s, something like that. You know, let's talk about his career here while we're at it. The long, illustrious career of one Sycho Sid. Of course, we know Sid Vicious, trained by Toji Yamamoto in 1987. Obviously, I had an encounter with Macho Man Savage, late Randy Savage, and his late brother, Lanny Poffo, being trained by Tojo Yamamoto, the late Yamamoto. Made his debut teaming with Austin Idol, Austin Idol still around, and wrestled the team of the late Nick Bockwinkel and WWE's Hall of Famers Nick Bockwinkel and Jerry Lawler. Then he opted out of a masked persona named Lord Humongous, which is the funniest thing ever. He began his wrestling career in the Continental Championship Wrestling, CCW, in 1987 under a mask and the name Lord Humongous. On Christmas Day 1987, he won the NWA Southeastern Heavyweight Championship. Should I say that 3 times fast? Going to be the final belt holder, obviously, all that stuff. He then went on later on to join WCW, the NWA WCW from 1989 to 1991. Joining the Skyscrapers, it was him and Stan Spivey, originally paired with him. They went from the Skyscrapers. Unfortunately, Sid then suffered a injury. This is where he started incorporating the powerbomb as a finishing maneuver. Obviously, the tag team was short-lived after Sid suffered a broken rib and a punctured lung during a match with the Steiner brothers at Clash of the Champions number 9. Taking his place, who then would become known as The Undertaker, Mark Callis. He would then join the Four Horsemen in 1990. Was not there very long. Then he went over. Then he had his first jump to WWF in 1991 to 1992 as Sid Justice, having a program with Hulk Hogan. I believe there was a year that they main evented WrestleMania. If I can find, I know this match happened in WrestleMania. I got to find the. I believe it might have been made. Yes, it was. It was the main event of WrestleMania. Went to a disqualification. Obviously, that match happened because this is when Ric Flair won the '92 Royal Rumble from the number 3 spot to become the WWF champion. Sid, who was for one of the last people in there, was eliminated by Flair, but it's because Hogan was holding on to Sid, and everyone's like, well, Sid probably should have won the Royal Rumble that year. Sid then went back to WCW only for 1 year, 1993. he teamed with the late great Big Van Vader, reignited his feud with Sting at Fall Brawl. Sting's team of Davey Boy Smith, with the Sting, it's Davey Boy Smith, Dustin Rhodes, the Shockmaster. They defeated Sid's team of Vader and Harlem Heat at War Games, which I believe that's, well, it was that on the night. I'm wrestled. Oh, anyways, at Halloween Havoc, Sid faced Sting in a rematch of the same pay-per-view 3 previous years, but was beaten by a roll-up the following week on television. Sid turned on Rob Parker, becoming a babyface. This would be Sid's last appearance with WCW before being released from his contract due to an incident with Arn Anderson. If you guys know about this incident, the incident being, if I can find the... So, during a WCW tour in Europe in 1993, in October of 1993, Sid and Arn Anderson were involved in an argument at a hotel bar in the English town of Blackburn. Anderson threatened Sid with a broken bottle after being sent into the rooms, by Chief Security Doug Dillinger. Remember Doug Dillinger? Sid later came to Arn's room and attacked him with a chair leg. Anderson then retaliated with a pair of scissors. Sid received 4 stab wounds, and Anderson received 20, losing a pint and half of blood in the process. The fight was broken up by two fellow wrestlers, Too Cold Scorpio, who was credited for saving Arn Anderson's life. Neither men were charged against each other, and the British police declined to do so, since both men would be leaving the country soon. Sid was fired over this incident. So that was a one weird ass story. That's the story of Sid stabbing, the stabbing of Sid and Arn Anderson. Had a short stint in the United States Wrestling Association from 94 to 96. Didn't really do much there. Then he went back to WWF in 1995. He became Shawn Michaels' bodyguard. He donning the name Sycho Sid, by the way. Eventually turning on Michaels after Michaels lost to Big Daddy Cool Diesel, who Diesel then retained the WWF Championship at that year's WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania 11. So all that stuff here, which then eventually would culminate I don't exactly remember when they did their first match, but Sid then challenged Diesel to a WWF title match in 1990. I believe it was I think it was at the first In Your House pay-per-view event, which Diesel accepted. Diesel obviously won via disqualification. King of the Ring, Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow then went on to defeat Sid and Tatanka at one point, and all that stuff here. Then we go to 1996. This is where it starts getting good for Diesel. We're going to go straight to this stuff here. So actually, we're going to go straight to the WWF title win here. So Sid would then go on to challenge Shawn Michaels, who was the babyface at the time. Sid, who was the heel, he went on to challenge Michaels for the WWF title at Survivor Series in 1996. However, this was in Madison Square Garden, and Sid was getting cheered, and Michaels was getting booed. So they didn't do a double turn per se. At least not yet. But Sid eventually turned babyface, won the WWF Championship there at the Royal Rumble. Obviously, it was in the Alamo Dome. Sid lost the title back to Shawn Michaels. Obviously, all that stuff here. Then Sid would then go on to win the excuse me, I'm sorry. Would then go on to. I woke up at like 7 o'clock in the morning this morning, so bear with me. Then Sid would go on to win back the WWF Championship, I believe might have been from Shawn Michaels. It was from Bret Hart, excuse me. Or no, actually, I don't think it was from Bret Hart. I think Shawn Michaels vacated the championship because he lost the Smile, excuse me. And then we had the Fatal 4-Way match here, all that stuff. Bret Hart ended up with, it was Bret, Undertaker, Austin, and Vader. Bret ended up winning the WWF Championship and was scheduled to face Sid the following night on Raw. Obviously that would mean Sid have won the championship. Then the main event of WrestleMania 13 of the year was Sid versus The Undertaker. That's when The Undertaker ended up retaining the WWF Championship. Or winning the WWF Championship. He had a short stint in ECW. He had various matches with the likes of the Dudley Boys, John Coronas, Skull Von Crush, and Just Incredible, as well as Spike Dudley. I remember that as well. He returned to WCW as the Millennium Man, had feud with Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Randy. He joined Randy Savage's stable, the Team Madness, had a feud with Goldberg, who had probably one of the all-time great segments where Sid came out, his car was destroyed, and he sees it, and it's like, "What happened to my car?" And he starts blaming Goldberg. He's like, Goldberg. It was great. Sid then would win his only WCW World Championship from Chris Benoit. Oh, no, excuse me. I'm throwing that back here. His United States Championship from Chris Benoit at Fall Brawl 1999. That's where he began the feud with Goldberg, who I believe won the championship from Sid that night as well. They had a Mayhem match, when I Quit match at Mayhem, where Sid lost to Goldberg, effectively ending a feud here, and Sid's undefeated, because apparently Sid had some type of undefeated streak here. Then we go to the 2000s. Sid became a babyface number one contendership here. Main event of the sold out pay-per-view that year was, I believe, I could be wrong here, but I believe, because it was to crown a new WCW champion. It ended up being, I don't know if Sid wrestled earlier on in that night, but I don't think he did. So Benoit had won I think he won a ladder match or something here earlier in the night. I gotta find it here. He won some type of match here. I must be thinking of it a different show. Anyways, it was Arn Anderson was the special referee. It was Benoit and Sid Vicious for the WCW Championship. Obviously, Benoit would end up winning that, then vacating it the next night as he left for WWF at Uncensored 2000. At Super Bowl 2000, he ended up winning the championship. Obviously, and all that stuff would happen here. Unfortunately, he would go on to break his leg in one of his matches. It was I believe it was not at Starrcade. It was at Sin, where it was. I believe it was the final WCW pay per view. By the way, no, it wasn't. It was so the main event was a four corners match for the WCW Championship. It was Scott Steiner defending the championship against Jeff Jarrett, Sid Vicious, and a mystery opponent ended up being the late Road Warrior Animal. And during this match, Sid came off the second rope and broke his leg pretty much snapped right in half. And it was, it was fucking crazy. It was disgusting. All that stuff here. I think he would come out and make appearances periodically. His last appearance for WWE was in 2012. They did this whole shtick here with Heath Slater. He was facing every legend from Raw's. I believe we were getting ready to celebrate the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw, and Heath Slater had matches with with Lita and Doink the Clown and Big Van Vader, Rikishi, and Road Warrior Animal, and would get beat up by APA and DDP and all that stuff here. One of the matches that was Sycho Sid. It was on June 25th, 2012. It was his first match, as was pointed out, since 1997, I believe. If I can find the July. Let's see who he wrestled on that show. If I can find out who he. I think it might have been this show. No, it wasn't this show. Let me see if I can. You know what I'm gonna do here? I'm gonna type in Sycho Sid. I can find something there. Sycho Sid. So Sycho Sid here. Let's see. Monday Night Raw. Actually, let's do that. Raw. Nope. Raw. Okay. So, this would have been incorrect then. This would have been incorrect. So they said June. What did they say? July 14th. Well, this is incorrect. So it was actually June 9th, 1997, and his last match was against Owen Hart. His last match before he came back here, and then he wrestled his last match of his career against Paul Rosenberg in Ottawa and Ontario, Canada, of the Great North Wrestling. And that, I believe, is it. He's survived by his wife, widow, Sabrina Page. He has a family. He's a father of two. One is obviously a son. He has two sons. Frank, who was a cast member on Big Brother 14 and 18, who doesn't watch that, and Gunner, Gunner is a wrestler himself. So that is basically all I have there on Sycho Sid Vicious. My thoughts and prayers go out to Sid and Sid's family, friends, and fans. I put out my own little tweet on Sycho Sid earlier today. And I said, Sid Vicious was a part of my childhood. This one hurts. I know I say that a lot because a lot of wrestlers from the 90s touched me in different ways as a kid. And as a kid, I thought Sycho Sid in 1996 was the coolest thing in the world. May he continue to rule the world upstairs, powerbombing bitches left and right. Rest in peace to the late, great Sycho Sid Vicious. My hope now is that he goes into the WWE Hall of Fame next year. By the way, Sycho Sid had one of the coolest fucking entrance themes I've ever heard in my life. Obviously, a play on the film Psycho, where they gave him the name there. He also had some of my favorite lines growing up. I know we joke about his screw up promos, but they are never not going to be not funny. Obviously, the infamous one was I believe it was the Royal Rumble '97. Yeah, I think it was either the '97 Royal Rumble or was it the '96 Royal Rumble. What year was it that he did the it was either the '96 or the '97 Royal Rumble. I'm trying to remember which one it is. I know he did I know he did one of them, and it was a funny ass. It had to be '97 Royal Rumble. Let me see if I can find it here. If I can find the promo that he got, the infamous the infamous "We're Live, Pal." Let me see if I can find it. This is I'm trying to. I'm trying. Was it this one? Was it the Royal? Let me see. I believe it was the Sid promo. Was it the Sid promo from the Royal Rumble? The We're Live, Pal one. See if we can find it. Live. We're Live, Pal. What? Oh God! What? Which? Oh, what was it? I know it's in here somewhere. I know it is. When was this? I'm trying to figure out. It had to be the Royal Rumble, right? No, it was in your house, 1997, right? I think it was this one. It had to be either in your house or it was either in your house or the Royal Rumble. All I know is they were doing a promo. It was live. JR was talking about something to Sid, and Sid, I screwed up his line, and he said, "Let me do this again." And JR is like, "Nah, we're live, pal." It was hilarious. One of my favorite. Let me see if I can find it here. If I can find the "We're Live, Pal." I know it's in here. I just seen it a few minutes ago. Oh, here we go. So it had to be. Okay, so it was in your house. It was in your house 5. What was in your house 5? That was, oh my God, what was it? Season Beatings, right? This is the infamous. Okay, so this was the infamous. We're Live, Pal. Yeah, this was the infamous. I believe what was said was he realized he screwed up. Sid asked if he could do this promo from the top, only for good old JR to help him out. Say, "We're live, pal." Fortunately, Sid was able to recover, but it was great stuff. And then the other one was, the infamous. Oh, the oh so infamous. You're half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do, or something like that. That was some good stuff. But Sid also had some disturbing promos too. So like that was some good stuff from Sid. Yeah, but I'm gonna miss Sycho Sid. He was one of my favorites growing up. By the way, I want to point out that the person who runs the Sycho Sid account, he never ran that account at all. Like not one bit. So anybody thinking it was him, it was never him. So I'm just letting you guys know that now. So yeah. So I really don't have anything else left to talk about when it comes to Sycho Sid. Again, may he rest his peace. My thoughts again go out to his family and his friends and all the good stuff there. So there is that. Let's see. Do I have any other news here? Oh yes, I do have some news here. So it was announced during the show. Well, tonight was the last night for Michael Cole until they moved to Netflix on Monday Night Raw. Corey Graves is filling in for Pat McAfee until Pat comes back, which is in January of 2025. It was announced that when when SmackDown moves to the USA Network, not this Friday, but the following Friday, or not this Friday. No, is it the following Friday? No, it's not. Yeah, no, 2 weeks from now. So 2 weeks from now is when they're going to be going to. It's 3 weeks from now. September 13th, they're going to be going. SmackDown's moving back to the USA Network. God, and it was announced that The commentary team for that show is going to be Michael Cole and Corey Graves, while Joe Tessitore, who's coming over, who's starting his WWE professional wrestling commentating duties on Raw next week. So that is what's happening there. I believe that was a little bit of just most of the basic set of news here that I had, which was the Sid stuff, and then that was basically it there. My quick thoughts on All In was a fine show. Nothing groundbreaking. I'm not going to say it was like the best wrestling show on the planet, because it really wasn't. The Mariah May match was pretty good. The main event was amazing. I didn't really care for MJF Ospreay. I just don't know. It's just MJF matches don't do it for me at all. I like Will Ospreay. The Gauntlet match kind of ruined some of the part of the show for me. Britt Baker and Mercedes had probably the worst match I've ever seen in my entire life. Probably the worst women's wrestling match I've ever seen in my life. I never want to hear people try to gaslight. By the way, the people who were cheating on that match basically only put the blame on Britt Baker, did not put it on Mercedes, because I've seen Mercedes have terrible matches with some of the best wrestlers in the entire world. Case in point, 2 weeks ago, on Dynamite against Hikaru Shida. You know, I'm just putting that out there. Mercedes, even Charlotte Flair, who I cannot stand, right? But I can say that Charlotte Flair, her and Charlotte have had some of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life, right? I've seen some worse matches from Mercedes. Include people who have wrestled better, like some of the best wrestlers of the world have had some of the worst matches with that woman. Just I thought I'd throw it out there. So don't just put the blame on Britt. You gotta put not a lot of it, but the equal blame has to go to both parties here, because it takes two to tango. That's how it's always been in wrestling. Look at this. Io Shirai, right? Took Shotzi, who's not very good in the ring, and gave Shotzi her two best matches in WWE. Becky Lynch, who a lot of people like to shit on for whatever reason, took who was still kind of green but was getting there, that being Xia Li, and gave Xia Li the best match she's ever had in her entire career. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts on All In. Nigel McGuinness returned to the ring, which was pretty cool, pretty badass. Though this should be very much canon now that Mariah May. What the fuck was I thinking? Oh, that Mariah May who kissed Nigel earlier on in the night. We should say now that Mariah May healed Nigel McGuinness. Jokingly, obviously. But which is pretty funny. Also, Jamie Hayter came back. I wish they didn't put that on the pre-show. And I know a lot of people said, well, it kind of, lines up with the stuff with Britt Baker. I'm like, motherfucker, there's another match on the entire show. She didn't have to do the Britt Baker stuff. You could have still had Mariah May win the championship, beat up Toni Storm afterwards, and then have the person who Toni Storm originally won the championship from. I'm not talking about Shayna the first time, or not technically the second time. But first time part of that Outcast crap. That would be Jamie Hayter. But but I'm not that mad about, like, I'm not that angry about it. I just thought we should have done better with that here. But yeah. All right, let's get on to Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was from Providence, Rhode Island. We've seen the in-ring debut / in-ring return of Bo Dallas as Uncle Howdy. It's the in-ring debut of the Uncle Howdy character, but it's Bo Dallas' return to the ring since 2019. Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed beat the shit out of each other, which is, I can't wait to talk about that. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. But Judgment Day opened up Raw because, of course, they do. Liv Morgan welcomes fans to Raw, demands all to rise for the Judgment Day, which is a weird thing for her to come. It's weird. It's still weird to see Liv Morgan in the Judgment Day. I thought I'd say that. Finn Balor says it's time for everyone to remember what the Judgment Day is all about. Then through a video of their attack on Rhea Ripley and Dominic and Damian Priest last week. Carlito then calls the attack cool. JD McDonough says the attack was a long time coming to Rhea and Priest. Balor says the Judgment Day isn't the bad guys, but rather Priest and Rhea is. And they go on and on and on. Dominic tries to talk about stuff here. Liv Morgan says some stuff here. All that stuff there. So the LWO comes out for whatever reason. Dragon Lee has finally come out of hiding. Triple H is apparently actually listening and watching and reading Twitter. Because, there's that. All that, they started talking about some shit. Who cares? I really didn't care about it. But then we had the Judgment Day and LWO. Match was fine. Nice to see Dragon Lee back on television, though. But Judgment Day get the win here after Dominic pins Rey Mysterio off of the distraction there. And all that stuff here. After the match, the Judgment Day begins beating down on LWO. Priest and Rhea comes out to make the save here. They say some stuff here and they say that they were the masters of the rules of the world, which is a nice little tribute to Sycho Sid. There was no powerbomb, though. I'm very upset that no one won a match with a powerbomb on the show here. We've seen throughout the show about triple threat matches. So we've had 2 triple threat matches on this show. If I can find when it comes to the Intercontinental Championship tournament thing, we had a semifinals match. I'm not gonna review the matches yet, but we had Jey Uso, Kofi Kingston, and Karrion Kross as one match, and we had The Miz, Pete Dunne, and Xavier Woods in the other one. We'll talk about those when we get down there. The Sky Pirates, Io Sky and Kairi Sane, defeated the Pure Fusion Collective. This group is not working. I'm sorry. The Sky Pirates work all the time. They're getting over, which is great. I love that the Damage Control are over now. It just makes me happy to see. It was fine. The match was fine. Kairi and Shayna always worked well together. Io and Shayna always worked well together. Sylvia Stark is fine for what she is here. But Selena Vega came out to blindside Sonya Deville, which would allow Stark, who was on the out. I think it was it was Shayna on the outside. Ooh. Which I'm surprised that Shayna didn't take the pinfall this one, which did shock me here. But Shayna was on the outside as Io was on top rope, along with Kairi, who was also on the top rope with Zoey Stark in the ring. they both simultaneously hit their finishing maneuvers on the opposite opponents, and Kyrie ended up pinning Zoey Stark to get the win here for the Sky Pirates. Love that. We had a videotape here from Uncle Howdy. Bo Dallas sending a message to Chad Gable, calls him a false prophet, saying before saying that he's leading the Creed brothers to the Wolves, basically feeding the Creed brothers to the Wolves, and all that stuff here. Drew McIntyre comes out next for a promo here. Obviously, he's got a match with CM Punk this Saturday. By the way, Bash in Berlin is this Saturday. We'll cover that. We're gonna cover a lot of shit. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna do that weekend because the Saturday is gonna be insane. Saturday's got the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix, the start of the Dream Star tournament for Marty Gold, and we got Bash in Berlin, and then we got NXT No Mercy. It's gonna be a lot here. I may just do all of that talk about all of that on Sunday's show, and I'll record all that stuff on after No Mercy. I'll let you guys know what I've decided Friday night when I get SmackDown review here. Punk and Drew McIntyre are having a strap match at Bash in Berlin. He says McIntyre wastes no time addressing Punk and all that stuff. He's like basically calling Punk a hypocrite and all that stuff here. Meanwhile, which I thought was fucking hilarious, CM Punk is actually during this segment is underneath the ring. And how do we know that he was underneath the ring? Because this motherfucker was on Instagram Live videotaping himself listening to this. Not only did he do that, he got from underneath the ring, still having the recording going on, beating McIntyre up, and after he beat up McIntyre, grabbed his phone and he went back up the rampway and was hanging out with Muddy McCarthy. It was, I don't know, it was pretty funny. But according to Scrap Daddy himself, Adam Pearce, he put out a tweet because Punk was basically beat up some fake security. He said CM Punk has been fined an undisclosed amount for assaulting security with a leather strap that will be used in his strap match against Drew McIntyre at Bash in Berlin. So, which I thought was funny that he had to plug it there, which I thought was funny. But yeah, I'm last week's promo didn't hit for me, but I'm glad they got physical in this here because all they were doing was a lot of yapping. So this is going to be brutal, but strap matches are not easy to watch. And what I mean by not easy to watch is they're disgusting to watch because you see people beating the shit out of each other with a leather strap. The last strap match I remember seeing in WWE actually I believe was funny enough, it was Drew McIntyre at Extreme Rules 2022, where he lost to Karrion Kross in a strap match. Wasn't a very good strap match, by the way. But my favorite strap match is obviously the strap match between Triple H and The Rock and Fully Loaded 99. It was a 99 or 98. Let me look that up here. WWF Fully Loaded. I think it might have been it had to be 99, right? Let me look here. Yeah, it was okay. It was 99. It was a fully loaded strap match. The winner went on to face It was the number one contender for the WWF title at SummerSlam. So that, and then the other one I liked was for the Universal title at Royal Rumble 2020, where it was the Fiend. Actually, one of the better, probably the best Fiend match. It was with Bryan Danielson taking on, and he took on Bryan. Strap match there. Jey Uso went to the ring and all that stuff here. We had the first of two triple threat matches in the tournament for the Intercontinental Championship to see who will face Braun Breaker, possibly at Bad Blood here. Kofi, Jey Uso, and Karrion Kross. It was all right. It was all right. I love Kofi. Don't care for the other two, if I'm being honest here. But Jey Uso got the win here because, Rikishi just can't seem to shut his mouth. He thinks that Jey Uso is getting buried when this man's about to be part of the biggest storyline that they've ever had here, which is the new bloodline versus the old bloodline. He's going to be rejoining Roman Reigns to take on Solo and his band of McDonald's employees, not excluding Tamatanga and Jacob Fatu. No, I'm not going to gaslight the Tangaloa marks. Not going to happen. Randy Orton comes out to basically, put more build to his world title match against Gunther. Gunther obviously was not here tonight. He was in along with Sheamus. He and Sheamus, and I believe it was him, Sheamus, and Ilya Dragunov. There might have been another one. They're going to be they're in Europe right now, promote on their European tour, who are to help also promote Bash in Berlin. Ludwig Kaiser was the other one too. So that was pretty much there as well. Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman beat the shit out of each other, and I loved every bit of it. I'm just going to talk about the end of here. So Bronson, getting ready to do the tsunami stuff. They just start brawling up a gorilla here. The match, I believe, at this point was thrown out. They go to the back. They actually go to the parking lot here. Braun is just throwing shit at Bronson Reed. And all that stuff here. Then, so Braun's now on top of a car, right? Bronson then climbs a wall after hitting Strowman with a lead pipe, and delivers off this ledge. He delivers a tsunami splash onto him from the top of this ledge here to the car. The car exploded. This was awesome, and I want more of it. And I tweeted this out. Earlier. When it comes to Bronson Reed, I said, if I can find the tweet here, give me a second. I said, so one of the tweets here is that the current booking of Bronson Reed I love. I said something about Vader. If I can, here we go. So I said, if I can find it, I said, Bronson Reed is how Vader should have been booked in 1996. I said, Bronson Reed currently right now reminds me of 1993 Vader. Where Vader in 93 was a fucking monster. Where he was just squashing fucking Sting and Luger and Flair and whoever else got in his way. This is what it was reminding me of, and I was loving every single bit of it because Big Van Vader is one of my all-time favorite big men, and seeing what they were doing with Bronson here, I loved it. Great stuff here. Can't wait for the rematch. That's gonna be good here. Bronson Reed was announced for the triple threat for the next week's triple threat Intercontinental title tournament matches. Check this out. So one of the matches we got here is going to be Ilya Dragunov versus Dragon Lee versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. That's going to hump mainly because of Ilya Dragunov and Dragon Lee, which is funny. There's going to be 2 dragons in there. That's funny. And then this match is Triple H is sicko for this match here. Big Bronson Reed, Ludwig Kaiser, and Sheamus. You're a monster there, Triple H. Also, because of what happened during the Sky Pirates match, it's going to be Zelina Vega taking on Shayna Baszler. So that's going to be happening next week as well. So, that is crazy. So there is that. We have the other one here. Pete Dunne defeated The Miz and Xavier Woods. Match was fine. I'm just glad Pete Dunne got the win here. Bitter into The Miz after all that stuff there. They're teasing something with Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods might introduce his character Zero to WWE television. We'll see here. Well, it's fine here. Obviously, we had the video package with Michael Cole and Corey Graves sending their condolences to the Sycho Sid's family, and did all that stuff there. Then we had the main event. Uncle Howdy, Chad Gable. This was great too. I enjoyed this. One of the things I was worried about coming into this match, in basically any of the Wyatt 6 matches that were set up here. Obviously, we had the Wyatt 6 match a few weeks ago when it was American Made taking on taking on Rowan, Loomis, and Gacy. One thing I was worried about is how grounded are they going to be in reality when the bell rings? We found out they're just professional wrestlers having professional wrestling matches with their characters with masks on, but they're just professional wrestlers. It's a cult. This is exactly the same thing here. Uncle Howdy didn't wrestle like the Fiend. That was another thing I was worried about. I didn't. I said this is all I wanted from the Fiend booking. You can make the Fiend as much. God rest his soul, Bray Wyatt. You can have the Fiend look as scary as you wanted. But I was more concerned about what you do in the ring. Because at the end of the day, you can call this sports entertainment all you want. At the end of the day, everything happens inside the square circle. It's a it's a wrestling company. Regardless of what, wrestling is it's the second W in the labels WWE. And we've seen it. But Uncle Howdy basically wrestled like Bo Dallas, with sprinkled in with some Bray Wyatt movesets. We saw him hit the mandible claw. We saw him do the. He didn't do the spider walk, but he did the backward spin in the corner. He did the mandible claw. He was able to eventually hit Sister Abigail, which got him the win. He did. And when he was down for they did a spot on the announce table. Chad Gable hit the why do I have, what the hell was that? I have no idea what that sound was that I just heard in my headset there. That scared the ever living shit out of me just now. That was weird. Anyway, what was I was saying something about Uncle Howdy a second ago. Oh, so they did the angle slam, and Uncle Howdy sold it like it hurt, and he didn't immediately get up after like a 1 count. He didn't stand up like the Fiend. He the count went all the way to 9. He crawled into the ring and sold it. The Creeds, obviously we had a rough bump up here. The Creeds and Ivy Nile came out. No Nikki Cross, unfortunately. I don't know why she wasn't on the show tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she wasn't on the show, but it's whatever. I ain't too bothered by that. However, so they did the lights off thing. I'm like, oh god, they're not gonna have them just magically appear in behind the creeds. They didn't. They did the lights stay off thing. But they probably did it so the creeds didn't see them coming. But as soon as the lights came on, I don't like. They came from the crowd. I seen Loomis fucking lawn dart himself across the barricade onto the creeds, and Rowan and Gacy followed. Rowan just fucking chucked. It was either it had to be. It might have been Julius that did that. Ivy now jumped on Rowan's back, and that was the end. And they rolled up the through the crowd. That was the last bit we saw of American Bane and the Wyatts, and then Uncle Howdy eventually hit Sister Abigail for the 1, 2, 3. Good main event. Nice to see Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas do his thing the way it should be. So, yeah. But other than that, Raw was a very enjoyable show. Triple H again has been cooking with Monday Night Raw, as he normally has been. He needs to step it up though with SmackDown, because even with Roman Reigns back, SmackDown still doesn't do it for me. I don't know what it is, but it's just not doing it for me. But yeah, but that's basically it here. That's all I have to talk about here. I will not be doing a Dynamite review, obviously, because I don't do Dynamite reviews really much any of AEW reviews anymore. I just have no reason to. I'm not, really in, like, I have no, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, I cannot think of the word now. My interest level in the AEW is not there. Like, I have no passion to cover it anymore, is what I'm saying. Not weekly on separate reviews. Like, I'll talk about it on our Pulse podcast on Sundays. But that's about it. And if you guys know, I don't do one of the other reasons to stop doing the single reviews is because no one was watching. No one was listening. Those were some of the worst viewed episodes I've ever had. Sure, the highest one I ever had was the dual NXT SmackDown NXT AEW podcast review I did, and then the unfortunate passing of Jay Briscoe. So that was about it. So yeah. But yeah, that's basically it. I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about here. Friday night SmackDown. I don't remember I don't actually know if I know what else is happening on SmackDown this week. It's the final SmackDown for. Actually, we have a Bash in Berlin street fight for the WWE Women's Championship. Michin is going to be challenging Nia Jax. LA Knight's going to have an open challenge for the the United States Championship. I would bark out so hard if it was Alex Wright, just because I just want to see what happens. But based on the live event shows that are happening overseas right now in Europe, it looks like it's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura, which is fine. Shinsuke Nakamura has not actually wrestled a match on SmackDown since moving to SmackDown. So we'll see. We'll see what else is happening there. Will Julia show up on NXT this week? That's another big part. We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow on NXT television, or we'll find out. Actually, no. This next week. Tonight's episode was taped, so I actually can confirm right now she was not on that show. But I think Julia will be at No Mercy on Sunday. So yeah, and NXT I believe NXT Well, let me see. NXT, when did they start on the CW? WWE NXT starts back on the CW on, let's see, October. Let's see if I can find the episode here. Oh, October 8th. So, yeah, and that's going to be the first show taking place outside of. No, October 1st, excuse me. That's going to be the first show of the CW area, and that's going to be actually the first NXT show on television, technically, to take place outside of the Performance Center. It's also going to be a live episode of NXT. This is going to be the first live NXT episode to take place out of the Performance Center or the of the Full Sail. I know when they did the takeover shows, they would film matches. They are on the following week's NXT show to do recaps and stuff. But this is going to be like the first official show here, and it's going to have CM Punk on the show. That's going to be in Chicago at the Allstate Arena, and then October 8th it's going to be in St. Louis for the Enterprise Center again with Randy Orton on there. They might do more. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll see you guys back here most likely for SmackDown, and I'll give my predictions for Bash in Berlin. Current card right now for Bash in Berlin looks stacked right now. So we did find out that we got the women's tag team title match is official. It's going to be Alba Fire and Isla Dawn defending against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley will take on Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Cody Rhodes will defend the WWE Championship against Kevin Owens. CM Punk will take on Drew McIntyre in a strap match, and then presumably the main event of the show, Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Randy Orton. I'll go through my predictions on Friday, assuming an amount of the matches added to the show. Yeah, again, you'll be able to find my socials and the description in the description of the video on YouTube.com. So yeah, until then, I've been Matt the Miss. This has been the Miss Wrestling Podcast. We're out.